What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee with Dudes podcast. Today it's going to be a solo pod. Alex and I, our schedules didn't line up exactly, so we ran some solo pods this week, but we will be back together here very shortly. It's a little bit in the afternoon too, so I don't have coffee today. So we're almost like winding down for the week now, getting ready to go and attack the week, right? But today's podcast, I wanted to hop on and talk about the three top strategies or things that you can apply or implement into your life right now immediately if your goal is to get in shape the fastest. So what are the needle movers? What can you do right here, right now, so that you can get in shape quick? It could be fast, and you can basically eliminate all the fluff outside of these three things. And so these answers are coming from ChatGPT. I had them based on science and data so that they're backed. And I want to go through them here and we'll see if we agree with them. Okay, so number one here is strength training. Number one, strength training. So absolutely agree 100%. If you are not focusing on building muscle and your goal is to build muscle, lose body fat, you want to get in better shape, one of the easiest and simplest things that you could do, we talk about it all the time on this podcast, is strength train. How much, what frequency, what kind of intensity? I always recommend start off by 3 to 4 times a week should be the goal to get up to, but depending on where you're at, your training age, your skill level, how long you've been stagnant, have you been doing 1 or 2 days a week? Have you not been doing any? The goal should be to build up to that consistency of, on average, 3 to 4 days a week is a great place to do that. You could use weights, you could use body weight, working the compound lift so that you get the biggest bang for your buck. Building muscle also boosts metabolism, right? So we gotta learn about that. It also, the faster your metabolism, the more you're going to be able to burn fat. Your body's going to be able to burn fat even faster at rest when your metabolism's in better shape. How do you get your metabolism in better shape? The more muscle mass you have, right? So resistance training, strength training. I know we sound like broken records, but it is proven by data, by science. We're not just saying this. And you'll notice you will start to feel hungrier when you're getting consistent with your resistance training. You get these hunger signals that kind of go crazy that you've never experienced if you haven't been consistent with weight training before. So some things to look forward to for you there. Multiple muscle groups working at the same time gives you the fastest results. How do we do that? The compound lifts. Bench, squat, some sort of pull, row variation. You can even throw an overhead press in there. And if you're familiar with the fundamentals of pulling from the floor, doing i.e. deadlifts or RDL, things like that, totally can do those as well. If not, you don't have to implement those, but it's one of the best movements you can do when performed properly. All right, number 2, high intensity interval training, HIIT training, right? Recommendations here, anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. Why is this so important? Well, we're talking about the fastest way to get in shape, right? So if we're looking at a 15 to 20 minute time duration, if you were to perform HIIT training versus like steady state cardio, it's proven to accelerate. You're going to burn way more calories in that short amount of time frame in a HIIT session than you are in something like steady state. Now, don't get me wrong. Steady state has its place. It's awesome. It's phenomenal. But remember, the topic for today is how can we get in shape the fastest, right? Think of high intensity or HIIT training like short bursts, intense exercises, how it describes it. I like using things, apparatus like sprint if you're just going to use your body weight, but you can also do variations of sprints on like bikes, rowers, skiers, any type of machine, right? Cardio machine. You could do that, just interval style stuff, right? An example of a good workout would be like on the bike, 20 seconds, high intensity, and then you cruise the remainder of the minute for 40 seconds and you repeat that 5, 7, 10 minutes if you can. It just kind of depends on your skill level, right? So recommendation for frequency through the week, 2 to 3 times, highly recommend. Number 3, dial in nutrition. You guys know we talk about this a lot. What does that mean? Frequency wise, how should I dial in my nutrition? Eating lean proteins, veggies, fruits, cutting out the processed crap as much as possible. I'm not saying completely eliminate it. You got to stay sane, and I get it. And we all love our snacks, and we all love our sweets. However, make it be this very small portion, right? 10, 20, 25% of your total intake. The rest of it should be single ingredient, high quality foods, lean proteins, lead with those first. And again, veggies and fruits, things like that. If you can put yourself in a caloric deficit even better. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, we all right now have a current maintenance caloric intake, whether we're aware of it or not. And that ideally is putting us at our current body weight, our current body fat percentage, our current circumstance, right? So whatever that maintenance is, ideally, if our goal is to get in shape, we want to lose body fat, we have to put ourselves in a caloric deficit. And how do we do that? We establish what our maintenance is, and we put ourselves in a slight deficit. And when you can do that, if you're like, I have no idea what my maintenance is, we talk about it here on the podcast a lot, is just literally journal or download a free app called MyFitnessPal and log your food intake and drinks, everything that you eat and drink for the next 7 days. And then take those numbers, add them all up calorically, divide by 7, boom, you got your average. Okay. It's really important during those 7 days when you're testing to not change anything. So if you have wine night, you're drinking beers on the golf course with the boys, like whatever it is, just track everything. Try not to let any calories go unaccounted for. That includes condiments, sodas, any type of drinks that you're having as well. Like, don't forget those. Those are very common. People skip over those, and track those for a week. Again, tally up those daily caloric intakes across 7 days, divide by 7, you're going to have an average number. Now you have some leadway, some guidance, a target now to put yourself strategically into a deficit. And which, by the way, if you didn't want to do that and you're like, I'm lazy, I don't want to see what that is, that's fine. If you just stuck to what we talked about before, is starting every meal with a lean source of protein, increasing the amount of veggies you eat and fruits, and sticking to like whole sources of carbohydrates, just basically just cutting out the processed crap if possible and junk food. Just doing that alone, not even tracking your intake, you're strategically going to, as a byproduct, you're going to put yourself in a caloric deficit just because you're eating higher quality foods. They help you stay satiated longer. They're going to be higher in fiber, higher in protein. Those two things in themselves help you eat less food, consume less food. When you eat junk, when you eat processed crap, remember, it sends a signal, a trigger in our brain to want more food, regardless of what our stomach is saying. We can be completely full, but those signals, those hunger signals that are going off like alarms in our head, oh, I want something sweet, I want something salty, I want a snack, I want dessert. Like, those things are very hard to battle when it comes to your goals, when it comes to getting in shape and getting in shape fast. So the quicker you can clean up the diet, the better, because you're going to put yourself you won't have to worry as much of tracking everything if you can stick to high lean protein sources, veggies and fruits. Keep it super simple. That'll put you in a slight caloric deficit. The other thing, in addition to the nutrition, is drink plenty of water. Avoid the sugary drinks, alcohol, things like that. Those skyrocket your caloric intake without knowing it, because you don't feel like you're eating a lot of food, but you're drinking calories. Think about like how easy it is to drink like a Starbucks drink, 500 to 1,000 calories, than it is to eat 500 to 1,000 calories. 500 to 1,000 calories is very doable, but you're going to feel bloated, you're going to feel puffy, it's going to take you longer to consume, so it feels like it's more. When you just pound down a drink that's 500 to 1,000 calories easy, you're like, what's next, right? So when you drink your calories, it's very sneaky, it's very deceiving. I find that to be the culprit for a lot of people if they're not hyper aware of what they're drinking calorically, because it doesn't feel like you're eating a lot of food, but those calories are still going in whether you're eating or whether you're drinking them. So if I were to throw a bonus tip in here, I would say your ability to prioritize your sleep, which in turn helps your recovery, and your ability to manage your stress. What I mean by that is, if you are attempting to do these things that we talked about, strength training, including some high intensity interval training 2 to 3 times a week, and then you're dialing in your nutrition, but you're battling stressors in life, you operate from stress, you're neglecting sleep, you can do those first 3 things only to the limit in which your ability is to maintain your sanity, right, with your stress and your ability to get quality sleep. Those things tend to be people's bottleneck when they are looking to improve or enhance their body or health in some way, shape, or form. They want to get in better shape. They want to do it fast. And they feel like they're doing the top 3 things, right? The big needle movers, and they are. But the big elephant in the room is they're neglecting sleep, and their ability to manage everything stresses them out, right? And those 2 things go hand in hand. So if you could kind of put, instead of putting the cart in front of the horse, put it in the correct order, make sure sleep and stress management are at the forefront, and then you can really capitalize and maximize those top three things. So again, to recap, if our goal was to get in shape as fast as we possibly could, we wanted to cut out all the fluff, what are the things that we could do and start today, right here, right now? First and foremost, the two things that fly under the radar for most people: prioritizing sleep, getting our recovery and our ability to manage stress, meaning don't sweat the small things. Are there ways and circumstances I could put myself in a position to stay calm, to focus on what's in my immediate control and the controllables versus everything else that's happening to me? Oh, why this? Why me? Why so-and-so doing that? Why does everybody suck? Right? Like, take your blinders, bring them in real, you're focusing super narrow, put your blinders on and be like, okay, I can focus on this, and everything else doesn't deserve my energy. If it's going to drain me, I don't need it. And if you can put yourself in that position, great. So let's recap. Let's say that's the given. Now let's recap the top three. Strength training, 3 to 4 times a week, prioritizing compound movements. Number 2, high intensity interval training, HIIT training, 2 to 3 times a week. Remember, we're talking about getting in shape the fastest. You're going to have a higher calorie burn in less amount of time. And then dial in your nutrition. What specifically can you do to start now? If you want to go the tracking route, you're concerned about accuracy, and you want to be really super laser focused and strategic. And again, you want to do things the fastest. You want to eliminate guesswork. Journal either MyFitnessPal or handwrite it out. Track your calories for 7 days, add those days up, divide by 7. Now you got your maintenance. Now you can put yourself in a 10, 15% caloric deficit from there. Or if you're like, hey, I'm not going to do any of that tracking stuff, eating lean protein, veggies, fruits, and staying away from the processed junk, crap, alcohol, sugary drinks, right? All that stuff. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, I like doing things where we can just kind of pick and choose the things that are really, really going to move the needle if you were to try to get in shape the fastest. Those are my top 3 things. Those are the things that ChatGPT said that are proven by science, data, and I agree with them 100%. Again, I would probably add in the prioritizing sleep and your ability to manage your stress, because most people find those on the tail end and how important those are, and they don't really pay attention to them until they have to. But if you can do that from the jump, and I can give you a little gold nugget, hopefully that'll help you along the way. And all we ask for you guys is to share this with somebody that you know, like, love, friend, family member, anybody who you feel like can benefit from this message, especially today's, where we're talking about getting in shape the fastest. I know that's a goal in today's society, is like, we want things now. And so if that is our mentality in society as a whole, hopefully this sheds some light on, well, if you want to get it fast, here are the 3 things that are not only backed by science and data, but what I've seen from experience. And let's face it, guys, they work. And so if you found this helpful, you feel like this could help somebody else, go ahead and share with somebody that you know, like, and trust. Again, somebody close to you, a friend, a family member. We're releasing pods every Tuesday and Thursday on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.